We are gathered here to fill you with fear and give you a treat for your ears, as we invade your mind with our scary rhymes and some tales that can be gory. As you bear witness and sit here and listen to our poetic horror stories. Hello, P.H.S. crew, new viewers and new subscribers. Today, we are taking a look at the lore, urban legends, and myths, the Wendigo. To understand the history of the Wendigo, you have to look past the Hollywood version, the stag-horned monster seen in movies, and looks into the spiritual and survival history of the Algonquin-speaking peoples. The Wendigo legend is deeply rooted in the harsh winters of the Great Lakes region and the boreal forest of Canada. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the historical and cultural evolution of this legendary monster. But before we get started, if you're new, please subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2026 this year. Become a part of the P.H.S. crew. It's free, and it won't cost you anything. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's begin. Historically, the Wendigo wasn't just a scary story. It was a powerful cultural taboo used by the Anishinaabe, Cree, and Ojibwe peoples. The Wendigo represented excess. In a communal society where sharing food was the only way to survive the winter, greed was a death sentence for the group. Traditionally, a human became a Wendigo through cannibalism or extreme greed. It served as a grim psychological deterrent. If you value your own life over the community's survival to the point of eating your kin, you lose your humanity and become a monster. In older stories, the Wendigo is gaunt because every time it eats a person, it grows in size but stays just as hungry. It is the personification of starvation, a literal starving monster. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Western anthropologists and psychologists began documenting a phenomenon they called Wendigo psychosis. Individuals, usually during periods of famine, would develop an intense craving for human flesh and a paralyzing fear that they were turning into a monster. The most famous case is that of Swiftrunner, a Cree trapper in 1878. After his family starved to death during a brutal winter, he confessed to killing and eating them, claiming he was possessed by a Wendigo spirit. He was eventually executed by the Northwest Mounted Police. Jack Fiddler claimed to have killed 14 Wendigos in his lifetime. In his culture, this wasn't murder, it was a mercy killing or an exorcism of a possessed person to protect the tribe. In 1907, Canadian authorities arrested Jack and his brother Joseph for the killing of a woman they believe was turned into a Wendigo. Jack escaped and hanged himself before his trial. Joseph was sentenced to death, though he died in prison just 3 days before a pardon for his release arrived. This case is often cited as a symbol of the Canadian government's attempt to dismantle Indigenous law.
Hello, P.H.S. crew. We have a question for you. Have you ever played Until Dawn, a survival horror video game? Let's start the conversation in the comments below. We are dying to know.
For many Indigenous historians, the Wendigo serves as a metaphor for colonialism. The insatiable hunger of the creature mirrors the way settlers consumed the land, the forest, and the resources without ever being satisfied. Today, the term is often used in Indigenous literature to describe corporate greed or environmental destruction forces that consume everything in their path and leave nothing for future generations. But the most terrifying thing about the Wendigo isn't its appearance, it's hunger. A Wendigo is driven by an eternal, agonizing craving. No matter how much it eats, its hunger is never satisfied. Its stomach is empty. Its form is wasted. And it will never stop searching for its next meal. The Wendigo is a solitary creature, a master of the hunt. It possesses supernatural strength and speed, and an acute sense of smell that can pick up the scent of fear from miles away. It can mimic the voices of humans, crying for help to lure its victims deeper into the wilderness. You can't run from a Wendigo. It's a force of nature, a creature of the cold and the dark. Once it marks you, your fate is sealed. It will toy with you, stalk you through the snow, its agonizing screech filling the air. And when it finally strikes, it's swift, brutal, and utterly final. It doesn't just kill, it consumes. It takes everything. The collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get some excerpts from their upcoming book. The Legend of the Wendigo is a powerful and unsettling story. It's a warning about the dangers of greed, of losing touch with your humanity, and the fragile nature of social norms when faced with extreme hardship. It's also a story of the North, a testament to the power of the natural world and the very real dangers of the frozen wilderness. The Algonquin people had a deep respect for the land, and the Wendigo legend serves as a reminder of the power and cruelty that the winter could unleash. Some people believe that the Wendigo is just a myth, a story told to frighten children. But for many, especially in the northern communities, the fear is still real. There are whispered accounts of strange sightings, of hunters disappearing without a trace, and of an unnatural howling in the coldest nights. The appearance of the Wendigo. If you look at historical indigenous descriptions, you won't find antlers. The deer-headed Wendigo is a relatively modern invention of Western pop culture. Imagine a figure towering 10, 12, 15 feet tall. Its body is gaunt, wasted, a walking corpse. Its skin is a sickly gray, the color of wet cement, hanging off its bones in tatters. Its lips are gone, chewed off by its own insatiable appetite, revealing jagged, rotted teeth. And its eyes, they're deep in their sockets, glowing with an unnatural light, reflecting the snow and the darkness. Its breath is a foul, freezing mist. And the most defining feature, the ears, large, owl-like, and always listening for the sound of movement. Until Dawn, the video game pilot introduced the Wendigo as a video game enemy. On a cold ridge in the Canadian Rockies, 8 friends gathered to move past a tragedy. They expected a weekend of partying and closure. Instead, they found a nightmare rooted in the very ground beneath their feet. Until Dawn did not just revitalize the teen slasher genre in gaming, it tapped into one of the most terrifying pieces of folklore in North American history. In the game, the Wendigo is a masterclass in uncanny valley horror. Within the game's lore, the curse began with the Makapitu, the first spirit. The legend states that any human who resorts to cannibalism on Blackwood Mountain invites a spirit to possess them. It's a cruel irony. To survive starvation, you eat. But the moment you do, you lose your humanity forever. Your skin hardens into a bulletproof molted hide, your teeth become serrated, and you are cursed with a hunger that can never be satiated. Until Dawn stays surprisingly true to the Algonquin and Cree legends, but with a few Hollywood tweaks. While the game gives us pale, hairless ghouls, traditional legends often describe them as giants, made of ice or skeletal beings with hearts of literal ice. One of the most terrifying parts of the game is when the creature mimics the voice of the survivors to lure them into a trap. This is pulled straight from the myths, the idea that the Wendigo is a hunter that plays with its prey's mind. The genius of Until Dawn is how it weaponizes the Wendigo's traits against the player. The game's don't move mechanic isn't just a mimic. It's a literal manifestation of the creature's predatory vision. One wrong breath, one flinch of the controller, and the story ends for your favorite character. The game forces you to embody the stillness required to survive a predator that outclasses you in every physical way. Perhaps the darkest part of the story is the fate of Josh. Depending on your choices, Josh doesn't just die. He becomes the very thing that haunted his sisters. It's the ultimate tragedy of the mountain. The cycle of the curse is never truly broken, only passed on to the next desperate soul. Until Dawn works because it treats its monsters with respect. The Wendigo isn't just a jump scare. It's a consequence of the environment and human desperation. It reminds us that sometimes the things we do to survive are worse than death itself. So, if you ever find yourself in the woods of Alberta and hear a friend calling your name from the shadows, don't move. This will conclude Wendigo Cannibal lore, myth, and urban legend deep dive. We hope you enjoyed this dark and morbid deep dive. If you did enjoy it, then please like, share, and comment to let us know. And if you're new, please subscribe. Again, we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers this year for 2026. Become a part of the P.H.S. crew. And since you made it this far, then why don't you click on the iCard? We have many original horror stories and deep dives you will enjoy. We appreciate and thank you all, and we will see you in our next video.